Hey, what's up everyone? So recently I've been playing a game called Solarpunk, which you might have seen me been playing sometimes on my streams recently. And in today's video what I want to do is just make a getting started guide for playing this new game. So Solarpunk is a pretty cool survival game. It's no like fighting or anything in it. It's basically just like the bare bones of a survival game in the sense that like really the only thing that makes a survival aspect of it is you have like food in water that you have to make sure that you keep full or else you'll just pass out. But overall, it's a pretty low demanding game, very nice cozy game if you want something to relax to. Now when you start off in the game, you're gonna not have like anything really. You're gonna have to do a lot of manual work to be able to get to the point where you can have all your stuff automated like you see on my screen. So the first thing that we want to do when you load into a new game is that we want to explore the starter island that you are spawned on. This is going to include some crops that you can find, as well as some rocks and sticks and stuff, and these will allow you to get your basics formed to be able to start really getting going in the game. Once you've explored and you've picked up some sticks and rocks, and maybe you've like built some tools like an axe and everything, the main things that you want to get started are two things. One, you want a rain catcher, which looks like one of these things that I have here. And basically what it does is when it rains, which it does somewhat often in the game, it will start collecting inside these rain catchers, and then you can use it as drinking water to replenish your water level. The next thing that we want to do is you want to get your crops set up. Now, when you get started, you can just do a very basic crop layout like you have seen me do on stream before. And then eventually you could build like a giant greenhouse like this is. And then eventually you'll be able to put sprinklers in here so that you can have it so that you don't have to water anymore. That's a big deal. And then just again, you'll be able to get to full automation eventually. So getting your crop set up early on is going to be very important to be successful in this game. So at the start, your main goal is to quickly try to build your flying ship. So then you can go and explore other places, get more resources, and be able to go visit the merchant shop where you get your main form of progression. Most of the islands that you visit will have specific things that are worth visiting for. Your starter island, for example, has infinite iron available. Eventually you'll be able to set up a drill at these sites, and then it'll automatically collect those resources for you so you don't have to just sit there and hit your pickaxe the entire day. Another thing that I would recommend early on is to build a temporary structure just for you to keep your storage in and your bed. The bed is similar to other survival games where going to sleep at night will allow you to skip ahead to morning, but something to note, it has no effect on the speed of anything. All it does is really change the day-night cycle, which is still important because early on your main primary power source for your automation tools, such as watering your crops and drills and stuff like that, are going to probably be solar panels. Later on in the game you'll be able to get stuff like windmills and other things that work at night as well, but in the beginning you're mainly going to make sure that you keep going to sleep at night so that your solar panels can keep working for you. So I mentioned before about the greenhouse. You're going to want to make a greenhouse eventually after you've gone a little bit further in the game, just because at some point, while it didn't really happen to me that much during my initial playthrough, eventually sometimes storms can come and lightning can strike your crops, and it's just good to be trying to protect them just in case. Eventually, if you want, you can also get this weather forecast tool, which will allow you to see like what's going to be the upcoming weather changes for the game. So that's kind of a neat addition, not really super useful once you get that greenhouse set up, but it is still nice to see sometimes. In the beginning though, there is going to be a lot of manual work, which might convince some people to stop playing, but I do have to tell you, if you can get through the manual work of chopping down trees, breaking rocks, watering your crops manually, all that stuff, I think the game is very special and can be a lot of fun once you get further on into the game and you can really start setting up your automations and flying around and exploring places, things like that. Now one thing that I think was really a key for me early on in the game was setting up these beehives, which allow you to harvest beeswax. And these can be used for a variety of different things. When I started playing, the first thing I was mainly using them for was to make wax bricks, which then you can put in your furnace and use to cook your different ores and minerals and stuff that you are collecting. Later on though, once you get to the point where you can basically connect to a furnace that is connected to one of your solar panels or to your windmills or something like that, you don't really need to make those wax bricks anymore. However, they're still useful because then you can start turning your beeswax into honey. And then the honey can be used for cooking different foods, that the foods will be better for you to use rather than just the plain old like raspberries and watermelons and stuff like that. Speaking on food though, early on, like before you start cooking and making more interesting types of foods, the main foods that I was carrying was the raspberries as well as watermelon. Raspberries are good to get your hunger up, and the watermelon's good because it'll give you a little bit of boost to your hunger, but it's also a really great way to carry the water with you to be able to increase your water level when you're out exploring. Eventually, if you do all this and you get your iron going and your furnaces and get your beeswax and the wood and all that kind of stuff, you'll have enough resources to build your first airship. Now, if you haven't already found it, there's going to be an airship part that you need to find that's on your starter island, which you can see me head to now in this footage. Once you interact with it, and if you have the resources to build it, you can go to your crafting bench and go ahead and build the dock and make your airship. Now, to me, this is really where the game starts picking up and it becomes a bit more clear on what you need to do next. Near your island, there is a floating shop where you'll find the only non-farm animal NPC. At this shop, you can trade items for blueprints that will give you access to better tools and features like solar panels, sprinklers, drones, and much more. So if you go on and talk to the merchant, you'll see what kind of resources you need to turn into them. You're going to see stuff like blueprints as well as ship parts. And the ship parts will allow you to expand your area that you can go to and find more islands to visit. Let's take a moment to talk about blueprints and how you unlock new tools. There are two main ways. First is via your research bench, which you can build on your starter island or wherever you want, and this will require you to gather different resources to research it, and then this will unlock in your crafting bench. The other way is by getting blueprints by trading with the merchant NPC. At the merchant shop, you'll select from a list of things that you acquire with your blueprint, and for either method, I would recommend focusing mostly on the tools rather than getting decorations. You can always, of course, go back later and get all the decorations you want, but if you want to progress through the game fast and really get to some of those cool automation tools, then you're going to want to be focusing on those as you use your blueprints and progress through the game. As I mentioned earlier, one of the first things you're going to want to research with these blueprints is going to be those drills and solar panels, because these will help you a ton. Most of the islands you visit will have some sort of material to mine. Setting up a drill with 2 solar panels will allow you to do this automatically. Different items that you attach will either put out or consume different amounts of energy, which can make it a bit confusing to know what exactly you need. However, you can build this analytical device that can show you the power consumption of your connected devices, and it can be very useful, especially when you start making very complex automations, such as what I have here with multiple sky turbines, a battery, solar panels, and then a bunch of different things that are attached to it. To me, the real fun of Solarpunk is building all these different automations and just watching your creation work for you. You can also have a lot of fun with just the base building aspect of it. There's lots of things you can decorate. You can really build some nice looking places and just have some fun with the building side of things. But from here, you're basically just going to continue to explore, research better tools, and then continue to automate as much as you can. Once you've explored all the islands and you've traded everything you can with the merchant, the last thing you can progress will be the vending machine at the merchant shop. You can build a post box here to sell items to the merchant in exchange for tickets to the vending machine, and if you want to get tickets quickly, the best thing to do is to make sure that you have acquired a chicken, pig, and sheep at your base, and then with these animals you're going to be able to start making food baskets, which you can trade in for a ton of tickets for the vending machine. So with that all said, that quickly covers everything you need to know about Solarpunk. Definitely let me know in the comments below what do you think about the game, and let me know if there's anything that you want me to cover in more detail, if there's anything that you find confusing, or you just want to hear me talk more about Solarpunk. But that's all I have for this video. If you enjoyed, it'd be great if you hit the like and subscribe. And until next time, thanks for watching, and I'll see y'all later. Bye y'all.